Hi guys, happy Monday or Tuesday, depending on what period you have me. It's Miss Kenny again, and this is geometry. This is for Monday again, September 21st, and Tuesday, September 22nd. And today, this whole week, we are going to learn about fractional distance. Now, this is something that in the past, students are not great at, and I know why, because nobody likes fractions. I mean, I kind of like them, but I love math and I only kind of like fractions. And so bear with me. We're going to go really slow. We're going to take the whole week on this. Now there's two separate ones, kind of like distance and midpoint. We did distance and midpoint on the number line, and then we did distance and midpoint on the coordinate plane. But we did those in one day. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do fractional distance just today on a number line. And then for Wednesday, Thursday, we're going to do fractional distance on a coordinate plane. And then Friday, we'll have combined. Now, all along this week with fractional distance, we're going to include more problems on midpoint and slope, just to practice this more, because next week we get into parallel perpendicular lines and you're going to need to know as much about slope as you can. So all your assessments this week will have slope questions in them, okay? Also, make sure you're doing these assessments because they are for a grade. Everything that we do now is pretty much for a grade. It's all in Schoology, okay? So get out your notebooks. We're gonna take notes. We'll do some problems together. And I wish I could talk to you guys live because you guys could help me come up with some fractions that you like, but I'm just gonna make them up as I go, okay? So I'm gonna flip the camera around. You guys are gonna see my nasty office craft room, exercise room as I flip this. So I'm gonna flip it and all right, there we go. So today is 9/21 or 9/22. We're doing fractional. Let me zoom in a little bit so you guys can see that better. Fractional distance on the number line. Now remember, check for updates every day on Schoology because I do record these videos way in advance. So other updates will be just on Schoology on the update page. Okay, so what this is gonna say, so we've kind of already done some fractional distance. If I said, find the distance that is 1/2 of the way from A to B, whatever A and B is, right? Well, that's just the midpoint, so you've kind of already done it. But now we're gonna be 2/3 or 1/4 and so on. So we're gonna write steps to this. So step 1 is find the distance. Now this is on a number line, so it's just two numbers. So remember, D equals the absolute value of A minus B. And again, the order doesn't matter. It's just A and B are your 2 points, okay? Step 2, multiply that distance that you found in step 1, multiply the distance by your given fraction. And then last step, step 3, is you are gonna add the given, whatever you get here in step 2, add the value from step 2 to your beginning value. Now that's the only important thing here, to your beginning value. And I'm gonna underline beginning value just so you kind of know the importance. So if I said from A to B, you would have to add the value to A because A is your beginning value. So we're just gonna do maybe 2 or 3 examples here. So example 1, it says, find the distance that is 1/3 of the way from A which is at, we'll put, I'm gonna make up a number here, -6 to point B. And we're gonna say that's 28. Again, I'm making these up, okay? All right, sorry, I was not showing that in there. So go ahead and pause it and I'll do better about keeping that in there. Sorry about that. All right, so find the distance that is 1/3 of the way from A at -6 to point B, which is at 28. You could draw a number line if you want, but it's not that helpful. So we are gonna literally go through these 3 steps. Step 1, the distance. So D equals the absolute value of -6 minus 28. And again, we're gonna use Desmos on this, okay? So I'm gonna do the absolute value, and it's -6 minus 28, and you can go forward if you want, but it kind of just gives it to you there. And it's 34. 34 is the distance. Okay, so 34. Now, step 2 says we're going to multiply this 34, the distance, by your given fraction. The given fraction here is 1/3. So step 2 says I'm going to do 34 times 1/3. Now, there's a couple ways you can do this. Just really, you can multiply 34 by the top number and then divide by 3. You can do it in Desmos. So here, 34 times 1 divided by 3. That's how you do a fraction, is divide. And we get 11.333. Now, what I had written is 34 over 3, which is the same thing. And you get 11.33. So no matter what. So we get 11.33. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add the value from step 2 to the beginning value. So if I said from A to point B, that means you have to start at A. So what we're going to do step 3 is we're going to take -6 and we are going to add this value, 11.33. Okay, so we have -6 plus 11.33 equals, I messed up, take out the equals, 5.33. And that is your answer. All right, let's do another one. Example 2. We'll move this up a little bit. Find the distance two-fifths of the way from X, which is at 10, to Y, which is at 105. All right, so now we're gonna do the 3 steps again. I'm probably only gonna do 2 examples, and then I'll just have you guys try some on your own, because I think this is pretty straightforward. You're gonna get decimals, sometimes you're gonna get whole numbers, sometimes it all just depends. All right, so step 1 is find the distance. D equals the absolute value of 10 minus 105. And so we're gonna put that in Desmos. So the absolute value of 10 minus 105. Remember, the order doesn't matter because it's going to come out the same anyway. We get 95. Now we're going to take 95 We're going to multiply it by our fraction. All right, so we get step 2 is we're going to multiply the distance by, so it says multiply your distance by the given fraction. Okay, so our distance is 95, so we're going to do 95 times, now I don't do a little x like middle school anymore, we do a little dot, okay? Times our fraction is 2/5. All right, so again, how you multiply fractions is you can multiply the 95 times the top. And so this is how I do it. I know 90 times 2 is 180, and 10 times 2 is 10, so 180 plus 10 would be 190. 190 divided by 5. Now I know that 190 is divisible by 5. So we're going to get a whole number here. And so you can just put that into Desmos or any calculator the one, and you get 38. That's not our answer though, so be careful. Step 3 is we have to add 38 to our beginning value. That's the most important part, is beginning value. So what we're going to do is if it's going from x to y, x is our beginning value. So we're going to take 10 plus this 38, and we get 48. I wish there was a way to show you in Desmos a number line, but I don't know how to do that yet. But if I do, I'll find it, okay? And that is your answer. So I'm going to go ahead and flip you back over here. All right. I just ran over my toe. I'm going to give you some problems on Schoology, and come see me on Zoom if you need any help, okay? And it's going to get just a tiny bit harder next time when we're on a coordinate plane, but the steps are generally the same. But make sure you watch the video, okay? Talk to you guys soon.